Hi, I am going to talk about a, a I have seen going over this morning with Sonia Porton, and basically it asks the question: should the age of consent be lowered? I answer my honest and complete answer: no. And there's a reason for that. I have, about a month ago, I was talking to this guy across the internet, and he was basically telling me that women as young as roughly in their teenage years, so it's like 13 plus, they know that they have a sexuality, and he thinks, and I'm not going to name any names, but he thinks that he can have sex with them. Now, this is my problem with the age being actually lowered. Guys are horny buggers, to put it mildly. And if the age of consent is going to go down, that is going to encourage more and more guys to have sex with girls underage and basically get away with it. And girls at that age are only just coming into their sexuality. They actually happen to notice, oh, they have boobs, oh, they are pleasing to the opposite sex. I mean, there are studies to actually show this kind of thing, but even all a girl has to do is smile at another man and he thinks she likes me. Game on. No, because we can smile to be friendly, of course we can, but in a guy's head they are thinking they're gonna have sex, they're gonna get laid, and if the age of consent is going to be lowered, then it's just gonna get ridiculous. There will be more underage pregnancies, and at that age their bodies aren't equipped and ready to take on the weight of a baby. I mean, yes, okay, occasionally we've heard of teenagers popping babies, but I think if it gets lowered, it's going to encourage it a lot more. And at the same time, and this is what I think, if the age gets lowered and guys think that they can have sex with underage women and get away with it, not only are we're gonna have girls with ABs, there's a high chance that they could get sexually transmitted diseases. I mean, it is such a delicate age in a young girl's life, and depending on her first experience of sex, she's either gonna think it's a beautiful, magical moment, or it's a quick 5 seconds and that's it. You don't. I think in my head that we don't want young girls thinking it's okay to have sex because they are now 13. 16 is the age and even then they are still young adults. And half the time they can talk the talk, they can brag about it, but when it comes down to it, not every single girl is ready to have sex. It's a big thing, it's a huge thing once this girl decides she wants it. And if she has had this talk with her mom or older sister or whoever, she is going to be led to believe it's this magical moment. She's going to be led to believe this is a thing that couples do when they get married, or it's she would have had this talk with her mom, her grandma, the women in her life that are going to help her and shape her thoughts into a perspective of her own, of what this girl expects it to actually be. Now, if you actually get a young guy or a young man, I mean, they are just learning to give themselves pleasure at that age for a guy. And of course, guys are going to have talks, aren't they? They're going to have talks possibly with dad, not as much as girls with moms, because that's just ridiculous. Or they are going to be pressured by their peers. And see, the thing is, and this is what Christina Aguilera was singing about, is a guy can have a girl and he can have a girl any day of the week, and he's the man, he's the the nuts, basically, hot balls, whatever. But if a girl does that, she gets the reputation of being a tart, a slag, whatever men call them. And what separates these girls to actually being girls that men want to settle down with? That was the conversation I had with my mum, because my mum had a conversation with me. She had a conversation that went like, she had a friend of hers who had a little bit of a troubled upbringing, and she was talking about it with I can't think who she was talking about it with, but she was talking about her with a couple of guys, and she was actually offending her. She, oh, well, and the guys were going, oh, you can have her. She's easy. Ooh, she's hot, but she's easy. And in actual fact, what that does is a guy loses respect, basically. And my mum was talking to me about it, and even though she actually offended this girl and told these guys that she did have a troubled up ringing, they still had no respect for her. And when guys get together, they can be really, really cruel. They can, and they pass stories and they share experiences, not as often as girls do, or they do it. And the last thing you need for a young girl as young as 13 is to be labelled as a tart. Okay, it is normal to have just trying to think of the word. It is normal to want to touch yourself. It is normal to have feelings of arousal, but you need to explain to your child, which a good therapist, Julie Hanks, is into, is you need to have these conversations with your kids before they go into it, because there's actually been another argument, another debate across the internet, because the moms aren't talking to their kids about the birds and the bees and all this, that and the other, and schools are having to actually do it, or that's a different issue. The issue at hand is, should the age of consent be lowered? No, absolutely no, because especially with young boys and young girls coming into their sexualities, they have to know that it is not acceptable at all. It's not, because at that age you have a lot of things going on in your life at that moment in time, and boys and being attracted to girls are things that go along with being a 13 or 14 or 15-year-old. 16, yes, is the legal age, or even then. This is how girls get into situations with guys, because they're not ready. They're not ready at all. They might talk the talk, and they might say that they've had sex, or they're bragging about it, or they don't realise until that they're in a situation with a guy, and if they have bragged about it, and if they have put all the flirtatious moves out there, then when the guy wants it, and the woman is scared because she's actually thinking, shit, this is moving too quick, too fast, and she's not actually comfortable, it can get turned into assault. It can get turned into rape, because this girl, this 13 or even 16-year-old girl, is not ready at all to have sex in the first place. So it can easily be turned into something else. Now, I have heard that there is an argument out there's another debate out there saying that young girls as young as 13 actually know what they are doing, that they want it, they want sex, and so they are going to walk around in a low-cut top, or they are going to do this and they're going to do that. Basically, guys, all young guys want to have sex, and girls trying to enhance their womanly figures. They have no clue what goes on in a lad's mind. They have absolutely no clue. And I think to avoid situations where this guy could actually be labelled as a rapist, or has touched another girl without her say so, the age of consent should not be lowered at all. It should not. End of. Because girls, they are a little bit the same as boys, but they're not, in a completely different way. Basically, it is so hard to explain the dangers of underage girls having sex with guys. It's just a completely different battlefield, and I think you have to have strong people in your life to pull you back, to give it to you straight, and to help you and support you. If you fall over, you need to know that your mom or your older sister is behind you every step of the way. And so, in my honest opinion, the age of consent should not be lowered at all, even if it is in other different countries. It should not be lowered.